Bet Online continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC. Head to Bet Online today and don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, the game starts here.
Like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Fucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL. When things seem fishy, and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, running like this and I'm a Who Dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Yeah, and so many teams across the NFL, Judy, are now solidifying the hiring of their coordinators, really going like pretty rapidly going about the process. Saints obviously have not hired anyone, plus Clint Kubiak now lands with the Seahawks, the OC they had on staff. First of all, it does seem like Kellen Moore has done exceptionally well in this process. It's really hard to say one is a favorite and one is not, but to me, just kind of reading the tea leaves here, it does seem like Kellen Moore is in a very strong position with the Saints. And, you know, he has interviewed several times for head coach jobs. He is not going to be the rah-rah leader. Definitely has a different affect, but a former player, someone who can call plays, who can design an offense. We've seen what his Philly offense has done, just beating down opponents in a physical way, would be a good hire for someone, potentially the Saints here. The one thing I would say, Mike, to Judy's point, is it a win now situation? Like, it probably is. There's only 32 of these things. So if you're confident enough to wait, that's okay. But there's only 32. If it's Kellen Moore, it may want to just grab it.
All right, shout out to fam, man. How y'all doing, man? Shout out. Welcome. And I'll rock it with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Shout out to the magnificent, the awesome, the great Saint think tank and the entire Who Dat Nation. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all being in the stream. Much love to the fam. Appreciate each and every last one of you guys. As you can tell, some stuff that happened in the search right now for the Saints, the lone team looking for an opportunity to get a head coach. Kellen Moore is, according to many outsiders, you heard Ian Rappaport, who's one of the top insiders in today's NFL corporate world, is basically saying this about Kellen Moore. And we kind of, had an idea of the forerunner, but we wanted to know exactly what was going on the other end with his top competitor, which was Mike McCarthy, who a lot of stuff was circulating around. Let's listen to this article right here from him.
For a while, Mike McCarthy, I can understand maybe after everything that went down in Dallas, wanting to take a step back and make sure you land in the correct spot.
Yeah, and I think that part deserves more attention because this would be Mike McCarthy's third head coaching job, the next job that he takes. Pretty safe bet that he's not going to get another one.
Good point.
So
Meaning a fourth.
Meaning a fourth.
Yeah, no way.
So if it doesn't work out in New Orleans, that's it for you as a coach in the National Football League? And do you want to hitch your wagon to a team where you don't necessarily feel great about what they got going on in the front office? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
If we're being honest about the Saints job, even though it's a soft division, you're at least a couple of years away from being able to contend, considering where they're at with the cap and all of those other things. So I understand why Mike McCarthy is being more selective. And if you just look at the inevitability when it comes to the hiring cycle, every year we see 8 to 10 job openings. This year we had 7. The year before we had 8. Mike McCarthy's name is going to be in the mix next year when coaches eventually get fired. And he could have a better situation, something that's a little more turnkey than what we got going on in New Orleans.
Yeah, and
Today, Schottenheimer made his first hire.
And that's funny, man, because at the end of the day, man,
all I can tell you, fam, is that we are definitely facing some tough times, man, dealing with the situation, with this whole situation with Mike McCarthy. It's just strange, to be quite honest with you, man. To see it, and of course, some of the insiders could see it too, that we just figure all at the same time, man, with several coaches just stepping aside. And like the guy said, like the reporter said, she said that, there are so many of these positions in the NFL, in terms of being a head coach, there should be sought after. When the question was asked to Mickey Loomis about that, Mickey Loomis basically said that, it's only a certain amount of these jobs in the game, and all this kind of stuff. When asked, what is the drawing point for a guy that wants to be a coach to come here? Because you'll get coaching candidates who never was a coach before that just wants an opportunity to coach for a team, to have that on their resume. It's also up to the decision maker to pick the best candidate. Well, I mean, you had opportunities, but several coaches have bypassed and stepped past the Saints to go to other situations. And it's not just because of the team there. It is many factors, and the main factor is the key decision maker of the Saints, which is one Mickey Mouse Loomis. And the reporters are talking about it, and you see some of the insiders are mentioning it, that the Saints job, you've seen Cliff Kingsbury say, yeah, I'm good. You've seen Joe Brady says, I'm going to stay where I'm at. And Mike McCarthy saying, similar things. Let me give you guys this right here, because this is something that Nick Underhill had tweeted out when they were talking about the situation. He says, can confirm that Mike McCarthy removed himself from the search. Saints never scheduled anything with him. The two sides had planned to talk this week, and it never happened. So that's a big part of the inside, because we were hearing different things. We were hearing that, yes, the Saints were interested in Mike McCarthy. Many insiders were saying the Saints were on his radar. Now he removed himself. And then, of course, the stories talk about Mike McCarthy then deciding to step back for the 2025 season, and then, look at the 2026 cycle. And pretty much what that did, that was and people termed or seen as the key opponent to Kellen Moore's opportunity to coach. Now, Anthony Weaver is also another guy there. Mike Kafka, who the Saints outdone Eric Bieniemy with. Cat Terrell reported that the Saints talked to him for 9 hours. Talk to the man for 9 hours. For 9 hours. And remember, though, that's not anything special, because the Saints talked to Eric Bieniemy 4 years ago for 8 hours. And nothing became of it. All they did was offered him the offensive coordinator. I mean, the defensive coordinator? No, the offensive coordinator position under Dennis Allen's staff. So it's very interesting, to say the least, about this. And it just goes to show you that in the long run, and we've been talking about this for a long time, and people starting to really kind of see it in its totality, in its whole sum total, that the Saints are now looking at Kellen. Obviously, he will be the guy. Now, it does answer the question, because when people ask me, and I'm gonna just be honest, I wasn't really enthused in this coaching search for what we had to deal with. And people, if you're a head coach and you have options, and we talked about this prior to all of this jumping off the hiring, when Dennis Allen, obviously got fired, we start already spanning at some of the people that'll be there. If you're a coach with options, like Coach Glenn is, or some of these other guys were, they're not unemployed. They're not like, I got to jump out on off the porch right away. I can chill, kick back, or stay where I'm at. Joe Brady could stay with Buffalo. They got, that's a better position in terms of him just being there with Josh Allen, learning the game and wait for a better opportunity. The same with Cliff Kingsbury with Jaden Daniels. That's a rookie there. He can spend the next year or the year after that and get a lot more solid. He's not forced to jump off the porch right away. So it's very interesting, man, in his face. It is a positive to a degree because it is an offensive minded coach that we wanted to go to. We understood that for the Saints to move in the direction to get the offense together, need an offensive minded coach. And I'm not very enthused about some of our candidates. I thought that we should have expanded our range a lot bigger than we were, knowing that you fired this coach in the middle of the season. And then we come out and the search, in my opinion, wasn't as grand or as vast as we would have wanted it to be. So in the end, what do we expect, from this leadership? I mean, this, if you want to call it that, but that kind of throws, when you think about who these people are, and you kind of say, in your mind, it brings up, Tyrese on the phone saying,
"What do you want from me?"
That kind of stuff, what more do you want from a team that obviously in people who don't have their rose-colored glasses on know that the Saints been in trouble for a while, and a lot of the coaches see it. And you heard what Chris Canty said about, man, this team ain't gonna win right away for the next couple of years, and within that time frame, he's saying because of the higher restriction. Now, Mickey Loomis will tell you differently, that the team can compete next year. He's been saying that the last 4 years. Why not doing anything? Why not putting any pressure on anybody? By placating to losing coaches, no accountability, stupidity, ignorance, complete everything that you want to say that's on the opposite side of what winning is supposed to represent. He does not represent that at all. He has lost his way. So as many of these players. They've become check cashers. They've become people that's just taking money. So if you have a coach like a Kellen Moore that comes in here, you're going to need a firebrand. And I don't know if Kellen Moore is a firebrand. Some people term him as more of a kind of a laid back coach or whatever the case may be. You're going to need a firebrand, because when you got a team that's underperforming like the Saints, that lacks so many things, because the front office will not help these people. The front office will hire you and turn it all over to you. And it's not like, you have a blank canvas to operate from. This is a painted picture already over the next couple of years. And what coach, wants to take on and be the head coach in the New Orleans Saints with us pissed off as what we are and putting it to you right away? You might not want to come here with that, but we'll see what they got going on, man. At the end of the day, here's Jordan Schultz, another insider, says Mike McCarthy did not garner the interest of the Saints. Now, here's another report saying he didn't garner the Saints' interest. Maybe it was in reverse. People, it don't seem like people are interested in the Saints. It ain't all about the Saints garnering interest in them. Hell, the Saints ain't had a fire group of coaches that they hired. Now, I do like, they did interviews for. I do like Weaver. Kafka's interesting. Kellen Moore, I'm not that enthused about him, but I understand. So then these other guys, I'm just not enthused about these coaches that they brought in here. We could have done a lot better, but in the end, what do we expect? What do you want from me? That's what Mickey Loomis is saying. We want a winner. We want a winner. We want a winner. We want accountability. We want you to step down as the general manager. We want you to get the hell out of the way and give it to somebody else and let them fix it, because you don't know what you're doing. So, in the end, it's going to be some rough times, man. It wouldn't have to be all of this. It doesn't have to be any of this. If we didn't have an ignorant moron on top of the team, we wouldn't be none of this. And a blind coach that's a brand, and a president that don't know nothing about football. We shouldn't even be going through this right now. But as it is simply what it is, and this is what they're going to do. So McCarthy turns him down. He's talking about Saints garnering did not garner. Mike McCarthy did not garner the interest in the Saints. I think that's in reverse. He wasn't interested in the Saints if he said, I'm good. Because he wasn't the only one. One dude makes an isolated circumstance. Several other coaches saying that they stand where they are is not on on those individual men. It is on the team. And they understand because, like I've been saying, and you've been saying for the last several years, that the New Orleans Saints are headed backwards. They're headed backwards. You got players telling you to have faith that the team will win again with no proof, no evidence. Faith without works is dead. You got players jiffing for a special teams coach who not going to push them or press them, not going to put their feet to the fire when they screw up or when they fumble or they miss blocks. They don't know their playbook that well. They don't put in full out efforts. They're not prepared to play. And that's before we even talk about injuries. So in the end, I'm not the least bit of surprised, but this is showing you even stuff that we know that we talked about here on the show. And people were saying Q is hard on the Saints. That I'm hard on the Saints because I'm talking about all of this and keeping it real because their ears can't stand that truth. That the Saints are not a good football team. And they're not seen as a team where even coaches in the NFL want to go to try to coach. So you had other guys said, I'm good. Because you will have to face us and we're not, listen, we are all out of patience. I'm just being honest with you. The last 4 years, they stumbled, bumbled, lied, and played games all of the last 4 years. Took no accountability. Loomis got up there and said he's not sorry for nothing he said about Dennis Allen, and sat up there chewing gum like a billy goat and saying to the whole world that Bill Nolan, Bill Walsh, 71, and all this kind of garbage, and then put up there and set Dennis Allen next to Hall of Fame coaches, and then Dennis Allen gets fired in the middle of the year, the following year, and then gets up there and said he doesn't regret anything. He don't take any, he's not sorry for nothing. He just sorry, period. But in the end, the NFL world sees what you see, that the Saints are a bit of a joke. But don't worry about it. They're not by themselves in the professional sports world. The Pelicans and the Saints are holding hands, walking down Funk Street together. Both of them are. So in the end, it's what it is. So he backs out and shut it down, just like Brady did, just like what's his name? Cliff Kingsbury did. Guys just backing out, say, I'm good. Because they understand, like Canty mentioned, the Saints salary cap situation is abominable. It's abominable. It's terrible. It's awful. It stinks. It's terrible. $50+ million in the red. How do you do that? You have to then negotiate agreements, restructure contracts of old players, which ties you to them going into the future, which then you can't get from up under them. But you need to restructure so you can get the money. Unfortunately, the restructure forces you into 26, where that money comes down. And it's probably going to drop pretty close to the red next year, depending on how much restructuring they're doing this year, because they need to get to a surplus, and some estimate it'll be anywhere between 15 to 20 million, if that, conservative numbers, once the Saints finish restructure for money, because you can't have put together a quality team without having the necessary money to be able to do it. So this is interesting. This happened yesterday, and when I got my notification, I said, man, look at this crap. But, I was like, man, nah, I'm not worrying about it. We're not going to worry about it. But anyway, let's jump to this article right here. Shout out to Z Sports. This is Adam Holt ranking the remaining Saints head coaching candidates after Mike McCarthy. Really nothing to rank. It's the guy on the screen, obviously. Now, Weaver, we like to think that Weaver would be an interesting coach there, but all indications is it's Kellen Moore's job. Despite a 9-hour interview with Mike Kafka. What is it with the Saints in these 8 and 9-hour interviews with people? What are we talking about here? 8-9 hours, and probably offered Kafka an offensive coach position. Hey, would you like to be our offensive coordinator? No, I got that job. I'm not looking to make a horizontal move here. I'm trying to go up. Well, hold on. We got etouffee and oysters. Do you guys got that in Giant Land? So I mean, it's going to be very interesting, this search, man, to be quite honest with you, how things are going to go. So this is an article right here from NOLA.com. They're saying there's a clear lead in the Saints' next head coach. Multiple reports are saying Saints appear to be zeroing in on Philadelphia offensive coordinator Kellen Moore as the top candidate to become the franchise's next head coach, according to multiple reports. Moore, who's 36 years of age, offensive coordinator for the NFC champion Eagles, would become the youngest coach in Saint history if he was hired, besting Wade Phillips, who was about 38 when he took over in 1985. Moore's coming off a 55-point performance in the NFC championship game, and the Eagles will be heading down to New Orleans next week for the Super Bowl. Coming off the Saints' second interview with Kellen Moore, the Eagles offensive coordinator remains the most likely head coach in New Orleans, in the head coach search for New Orleans, but nothing is or can be finalized at this point. That's Mike Ruffalo. Quote, Kellen Moore is in a driver's seat for the Saints head coaching job. After a great in-person interview Monday night, CBS insider Jonathan Jones reported he will be in the Saints facility as a designated home team next week. But New Orleans can't contact him, and nothing can be official until after the Super Bowl. So is this now, some of this stuff gets around, but some of this stuff could be backed out. Like if the Saints, if they talk to Kellen Moore the last time and, kind of shook their head to the job, they can't announce nothing yet. Maybe that can explain why some of these guys like a McCarthy backed off. Not just the fact that the Saints have a very difficult mountain to climb heading forward. NFL rules prevent the Saints from hiring any coach until after the team's season is complete. Moore's Eagles take on the Kansas City Chiefs February the 9th in the Super Bowl at 5:30 p.m. The news of Moore being the new lead candidate follows reports that McCarthy, Cliff Kingsbury, Joe Brady, and Aaron Glenn publicly withdrew their names as candidates from the position. 4 coaches. The Saints finished in 2024 5-12, fired Coach Possum on November the 4th. The Chicago Bears hired him as the defensive coordinator January the 28th. So in the end, Kellen Moore. By all indications, inside baseball, one would say yes. So this is your new head coach, 36-year-old Kellen Moore. That'll be the next Saints head coach unofficially. So, I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean, a lot of people like Kellen Moore. Me, I'm not really that keen on Kellen Moore. And I know about some of his stuff. I know about some of his positive feats that he had. I also knew some things that he did at Dallas that I didn't like, but he has shown to improve on certain areas with the Eagles. But I'm the skeptical sort. Y'all know me. I'm always looking around saying, what makes this guy the guy? What could he do for the black and gold? And his offensive system. Now, he has Jalen Hurts, a quarterback. Just shout out to Jim Kebb. Jim Kebb's been, sending me, DMing me saying, hey, man, you was talking about Jalen Hurts. We was talking about Jalen Hurts. And the guy playing in the Super Bowl. I was telling him, I tried to tell him. When he came out, I scouted him. I said, listen, man, I've been scouting Jalen Hurts since he was in college, 3-4 years when he was in college. He played with Alabama. I'm an LSU guy, so we've seen a lot of Jalen Hurts in college. The big knock on him was that he could not pass the ball, that he was the fastest athlete on the field. Jalen Hurts then transferred to Oklahoma for 1 year and showed them that he can throw that damn ball. I think he had over 3,000 passing yards for Oklahoma that year, but the thing is, he was super talented. They had him with grades a third round grade, a 4th round grade for Jalen Hurts. I was like, absolutely not. You take a stab at it, but they didn't. Jalen Hurts is now the Eagles seen it. They got Jalen Hurts there, and he's been doing a lot of positive things with Philly. They've been a competitor. Every time the Saints playing, we can't beat the Eagles without Jalen. If Jalen Hurts is there, We have not beaten the Eagles with Jalen Hurts as the starting quarterback. We beat them one time. That's when what's his name? Gardner Minshew was there because Jalen Hurts was hurt. So Minshew was running it, and we kicked their teeth in. But Jalen Hurts is there. We have not beaten them when Jalen Hurts plays because he represents several different issues for the Saints defense. Number one is the Saints have difficulty stopping a mobile quarterback threat. And then if you have a team with a phenomenal running back like Saquon Barkley and a running dual threat like Jalen Hurts, that's doubly dangerous. So Kellen Moore has a lot of really good talent. And then that offensive line for Philly is just ridiculous. The type of lanes that they open up for Saquon Barkley to run through. I mean, it is awesome. I just love how those guys block. So when he becomes the head coach, they can't say it, but once he does become the head coach, hopefully he'll try to pilfer some of those. He'll pull guys off of their staff from Super Bowl Philly team and bring them to New Orleans to fill positions like the offensive line coach and all these other positions. So one can only hope that whatever temperament the offensive line coach for the Philadelphia Eagles has and is consistently using, he can bring that same temperament and nastiness to New Orleans, because our offensive line severely needs that. In my opinion, they're totally inconsistent. They're weak at times, flimsy, unconcerned, and at times it's ridiculous. It takes attitude to have a mean running game. You have to be mad at the person in front of you. It takes attitude to run the ball like that. You know, it almost like, how dare you stand in front of me and try to stop me from running this ball? What's your problem? That's what kind of attitude you got to have. And our guys don't have any of that. They don't have any of that. We need somebody in there that can kick these guys in the rump and get these guys together and have them to get some attitude. The Saints they don't have that attitude. They got a loser-tude. That's what the hell they got. So, I mean, in the end, Kellen Moore, very young, but this will be quite the task for him to do. The first thing is building up that offense. And then, of course, the questions will come later on about what happens with the quarterback. You know, because I'm pretty sure, depending on what the coach want, is that a part of the job? Like, okay, you have to take this guy. Will he actually trade people away to build the team up? Is that something that he wants to do? Inside Baseball says he wants to ride out the next 2 years till the contracts fall off organically. Maybe he'll move one here or one there, but we're not looking at a full, like you see guys just flying out of here as the Saints get radically young. That's Inside Baseball. Mickey Loomis that's what he wants. Just letting you know. But in the end, we're talking about the stuff dealing with it. Kellen Moore is obviously the choice. And like we just said, you can't officially announce it according to NFL rules until the season is over with. So Kellen Moore seems to be the guy for the New Orleans Saints. And y'all let me know how y'all feel. Let me give y'all guys, I'm gonna be live for the next 15 minutes here. In the chat, y'all guys, let me know, how do you feel about Kellen Moore? What is his pros and cons? What do you think? I've been researching Kellen Moore because it's become blatantly obvious now that he's going to be the choice for the head coach position. What is his pros and cons? You know, like I said, I got a couple of people that I'm gonna bring in here later on this week to kind of talk about that, because some of these guys from other side of things, they know him better than we do, and it's a good idea for us to find out who this guy is. You know, tell us the game about who this man is, so that we be prepared to know his great areas of greatness and areas of not so greatness. You get what I'm saying? Let us know the full Bonte. Who is this guy? Besides what they're going to give you the fluff and tell you the greatest thing since sliced bread. But in the end, we want to know everything. We want to know what makes him tick. What kind of temperament? Is he accountable? What kind of, you see what I'm saying? Because I want to know the intangible stuff. Is he accountable? Is he a guy that gets on people, and this type of thing? That kind of thing. Because we need a guy that's going to bring it to some of these guys. We got losers around here at the Saints. You 5-12. Yes, we got plenty of losing going on. So y'all put in the chat, let me know how y'all feel about it. Shout out to Marley Mall, man. If Loomis wasn't lazy, the Saints would be better. He calls it, What was the term he used, fam? Help me out, please. Help me out. He used it. He says he's overly patient. That's what he calls it. Somebody, he says, I'm overly patient. No, you're lazy. You're lazy. You're not overly patient anything. What are you talking about? You're lazy. Thank you, Mo. Appreciate it.
I want to say thank you very much for picking me up, bringing me back to this world. Money out. Stay cool. Nobody gets hurt. Take the money out. All of it. Come on. Wasting my time now. Come on. Stop stalling.
I know, and that's the funny thing about when we look at people like Mickey Lomas. This is all his issue. All of this is his fault, because this is what we're facing. Because the truth is, Saint family, the truth is, how did we end up here? He mortgaged the future for the present, and that's why we're in this position right now. There was no fallback option. He put all of the chips to the table, to the center of the table, and said, I'm betting it all. And then when it failed, because his coach got fired, he took no responsibility, no accountability at all, and blamed it all on injuries for the last 3 years. It's the injury's fault, not him. And when the reporters asked him about why the cap is in this shape, you know what he said? Well, we got 60 people on the team. That's right. Some people only have 30 people. We have 60 players on the team under contract. That's the reason. No, it's not the reason why you got 60 people on your staff. Is why you $50 million in the red. You assigning people you could not afford. You assigning people you could not afford. And that's why the Saints are 50+ million in the red. That's why what it is. But the guy is a con man. He will never take responsibility for nothing. And all of this is his fault. All of it. Even could have had really good coaches if he would have given up just one of his positions. I cannot overemphasize this. He has 2 jobs with the New Orleans Saints. Giving up the general manager position would not put Mickey Loomis in the street and make him unemployed. He would still be the vice president of football operations for the New Orleans Saints if he surrendered the general manager position to Kai Harley. He would still have that job. There is no reason why he needs to have both. There's no reason why he needs to be the general manager. There's also not any reason why a guy like Lauscher doesn't take that job from him, because he has the power to. But my bad, he doesn't know the football stuff, as JD put it when he was talking to him. I know you don't know the football stuff, which is, how to win, how to kick guys in the ass when they out here. You got a bunch of people that want to collect a check and then try to talk to you and tell you something about who they want to hire for the team. Man, you better, listen, man. It ain't a good time I'm telling you, man. All of this is the whole time, because I'm saying I'm not happy. Let's just say it like that. I'm not angry or nothing, but I'm not happy like you would be, like a parent that would be not happy with a child, for underachieving. And not because they didn't know better. They knew and they didn't do it because they were lazy and they were irresponsible. Then they did not take any responsibility for their own bad actions. You would be disappointed as a parent. You would be very disappointed. And I'm pretty sure my parents, they've been there before. They've been there before. You've been disappointed before. That's how I feel about the Saints, because for years we sat up here and told them people about all of this, and then they're going to just pretend like it didn't exist and that we're here because of injuries. Not bad coaching, not the fact that they did not prepare this team, not starters, but the people underneath the starters are a part of the team, and everybody has to be prepared. Everybody needs to know their playbook, because any guy can get hurt and any guy needs to step in and perform. Not because you're doing me a favor, it's because that's your goddamn job and you're getting paid for it. That's God's honest truth. So in the end, this is all Mickey Loomis's fault. All of it is. And you got coaching candidates that are shutting down their dreams to be an NFL coach through the New Orleans Saints because of such a person. You think Gail sees that? She don't see anything. She busy doing the president wave. How's she doing? The richest brand ambassador in the state of Louisiana. Female, because Todd Graves is the richest person in the state. He's the chicken man from Raising Cane. But Gail just waves. Say bye-bye to the winds. Say bye-bye. And Dennis Lauscher just sits up there like he got a mouthful of cookies that he stole somewhere. He took. Go and look over that Oshner's books and be a director on the health board. I tell you, man, it's strange. It's strange times here, man. All World Trucker says, Q, if we had Peterson instead of DA, he would have fit the timeline. Hey, listen, Peterson was the first coach that they interviewed 4 years ago. He was the first coach, and a lot of people didn't know Peterson was coming. He really kind of surprised the Saints. He kind of popped up there. It's kind of surprised the black and gold, right? And he did one interview, and then he took the job with the Jaguars, and it went south in Jacksonville, and a lot of people said that, you know, Khan and all those guys were kind of, you know, giving him a rough time. And I'm like, I don't think he gave him a rough time. And they figured he was supposed to be able to give him a little bit more time on everything that was going on. And ultimately, man, in the end, it just was what it was. So, I mean, it's very interesting to say the least, man. But in the end, what could you do or say about it, right? I mean, he would have definitely been a better fit in my book than, hold on here, fam. This would definitely been a better fit in my book than having a Dennis Allen character to come here. So, I mean, but it's all history now, right? Peterson had a Super Bowl ring. He wanted to coach again, and it would have made sense. He was an older coach, but, you know, he also had a degree of, he coached in a very tough environment in Philadelphia. So I'm jumping from New Orleans to Philadelphia. We got a weird pipeline going here. Y'all notice that? It's a weird pipeline the Saints got going on with Philadelphia. It's like Philly pilfers our players like the Zach Bowen thing. Zach Bowen is doing his thing with the Philadelphia Eagles. He wanted to remain with the Saints. He did. Zach Bowen wanted to sign with the Saints and offered them to go back to New Orleans, but he told them he wanted to start. And that wasn't a Mickey Loomis decision. That was a head coaching decision. Dennis Allen says, we're going to go with the guys we got. And the truth is, the scouts had the vision on the Zach Bowen thing, just to touch on it because of this Philly dynamic, right? Weird stuff. They pilfer players from us, get players from us, and here we go looking and taking people from them. Weird. And, you know, we have trades with Philadelphia, you know, all this kind of stuff going on. Very weird. This dynamic we have with Philadelphia. But the Zach Bowen thing, that was coaching. Because the scouts had the vision of what Zach Bowen was. We knew that Zach Bowen could get to the quarterback and provide pressure and whatnot. But they could not figure out a way to consistently use Zach Bowen in defense. They couldn't get him. The defense, they just couldn't do it. So they turned him into a pass rusher. The last season, he had some success just hitting it. But you see Zach Bowen playing all over the field. Why? Because the defense that they're running out there, he fits that defense. Saints had the vision of his talents, but that's what I'm saying. Having vision, but not the resources or the know-how, how to take the vision and bring it from an intangible, invisible realm into a physical 3D reality is a whole metric altogether. That's where the masters, as they're called, can do. They'll take something that's intangible, that's here, and just something that you cannot weigh or even see. And then they'll take it, bring it into the 3D reality and make it something that everybody can see and appreciate. Saints didn't have that vision with Zach Bowen. They didn't have that vision with several players, a bunch of players. But thank you for this, bro. Appreciate you on that, man. Let me hit you with the money one. Where the hell is it, man? Hold on here. The thank you is always good. But
I'm gonna say thank you very much for picking me up, bringing me back to this.
Money out. Stay cool. Nobody gets hurt. Take the money out. All of it. Come on. Wasting my time now. Come on. Come on. Stop stalling.
all right, big ups to the fam. Brian, he says, what happens if the Saints can't get nobody to coach the team? Rizzy, no, they got somebody. I think it'll be Kellen Moore. I think they got a little under secret agreement going on between them. I think he'll be your upcoming new coach. And it like I said, Kellen Moore is an interesting person. Got some accolades that I can't discredit, but I also pay attention to what he has, because sometimes if you look at what Philly's working with, all of the talent that they have, my goodness, that can make any offensive coordinator look a little bit better than what they actually were. So is that a part of it? Because Saquon Barkley running all over these teams. You got A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown was cooking Marshawn Lattimore, absolutely cooking him. The tight end is doing a good job. Jalen Hurts' scramble ability, making tough throws, the offensive line blocking, run blocking, and pass blocking. And you can say that, well, that's him doing it, but there's also a run game coordinator, isn't it? How much of that is him and not him? You see what I'm saying? So some of that has to be factored in, because it's offensive coordinator ain't quite what it used to be. You have passing game coordinators, run game coordinators. How much is the other guy versus what he's doing? You see what I'm saying? Because you don't want to give somebody else's credit to another person. If they're, because why they're looking the way they're doing? Is it because another coach? You see what I'm saying? Those are the things that I'm investigating to find out what makes him tick and what really is going on here. Is this him what we'll be seeing, as opposed to people just saying that stat? Because we got hit with that with the Clint Kubiak thing. Clint Kubiak came in here and couldn't even adjust. Without his starters, he had no imagination at all. Kept doing the same thing and got it handed to him. Who Dat Daddy says, yep, they are training at the Saints facility, so after the Super Bowl, he won't have to leave. Yeah, he'll stay here and pick it up, right? What's up? Who that fam says nobody wanted Sean either till we gave him a shot. I think somebody wanted Sean Payton. Somebody wanted Sean Payton. I forget, bro. I gotta kind of think on it, but y'all can help me in the chat on that. Sean Payton was being looked at somebody else too. Well, who was it looking at Sean Payton for a coaching job? Y'all put it in the chat, because I knew Green Bay was looking at Mike McCarthy. I knew McCarthy took the job for Green Bay. He was there for 18 years, got a Super Bowl. There was another team, if it wasn't Green Bay, who was it? It was another team that was looking at Sean Payton. But the Saints wanted Kubiak. They wanted Kubiak over Payton. And Houston gave him, like I talk about this all the time, Houston gave him the contract. He brought it to the Saints, wanted the Saints to match it. Tom Benson said no and went with the cheaper, because Tom Benson was cheap. That's just what it is. They call it economical or frugal or whatever you want to call it. I call it being just cheap. All right. Brandon says Moore is not leaving a top 10 QB in Jalen Hurts to go coach Carr. If the money's right, bro, he will take a step. He will take a step. And then, of course, if let's say it's not, let's just humor because you're right. It's all rumor milled here. But let's say he doesn't. Who's the next fallback options for the Saints? Anthony Weaver, the defensive coordinator from the Miami Dolphins, Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator from the Giants, who has Andy Reid ties, and then Darren Rizzi. That's your remaining three candidates if Kellen Moore says I'm good, right? I'm gonna stay here because Jalen Hurts, and this could happen. This could very well happen. Let's say the Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl. And the coach Mike Sirianni goes to him and say, hey, man, listen, I know you want to go Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown. Go to him and say, hey, man, listen, man, we got something good here. We can repeat. We can go back. We just dominated the Kansas City Chiefs. Man, we can keep this thing rolling. You think he's going to say, no, I'm going to leave? A Super Bowl team, that's a point. He's still a man. Like, man, listen, bro, we got, Jalen Hurts, Saquon coming back, A.J. Brown, man, listen, bro. We got something special here. What if that happens? You think he says, nah, I'm going to the Saints with their $50 million in the red and a quarterback that's making $150 million that has a 15-13 or 14, whatever his record as a starter is. That can happen. So but they're saying it's his game. But fam, I'm telling you, people are human. They can buck out and go back and do what they want. So that's the point, bro. Thank you for that. All right. What's up, Byron? He says Kellen Moore would be a great hire, could handle offense, put plays, bring his staff. Bring his staff there as well. All right. What's up, OG Jerry? That's my brother, man. Big ups to you. All right, big ups to you as well. Thank you, All World Trucker, for that, man. Cartel says, Q, I think Kellen Moore is a great option for the Who Dat Nation head coach. You dig? I just need the Who Dat Nation to understand we're rebuilding. And it's going to take him some time to get us back to the NFC South. Thank you, Cartel. Shout out to you, my brother. Appreciate that comment. Can't forget about all the free agents, Mr. Yes, indeed. Thank you for that as well. All right, yes. Who Dat Daddy also says Gail is our Queen Elizabeth. She got that whole they used to do that, the other lady that's in there now, she seemed kind of cold, man. She ain't warm at all, is she? The lady that's in there now, she kind of cold, man. She had that uniform, that fit, that suit on with the round hat. And I was like, man, when did they let a Mormon up in there? But that was her standing up there. But she seems like cold. Some of the other ladies was like, they're more warm and outgoing and they wave and smile. This other person is kind of angry and kind of gives off mean woman vibes, I don't know if I like that too much. All right. He said, yeah, she reminds, yeah, she does. Like I joke about it, but Gail she's a Southern Belle. Like if you look up a Southern Belle, she's a Southern Belle. She's like one of them types, and she don't come from no broke stuff. She had a husband Tom Benson was her third husband. She had a husband that was an actor. People don't know that about Gail. Gail had a life, until she was met up with old Tom when he was late in the game. But yeah, she's a socialite, man. With her going to these charities and stuff. Listen, if Gail didn't own the Saints, and Gail never was the owner, and it went on to Rita LeBlanc and all them other people, Gail would be doing the same thing. She would be in and out of these socialite balls, these charities, raising money for people, that kind of stuff. That's what she would be doing. That's what she been doing. She doing what she been doing, but at a higher level. You get me? So it's what it is. So she doesn't know and not trying to learn, in my opinion. It's like the machine was set up for her, and she just walked right with it. Every now and again, she'll get pressured to do something and then walk up to the line, step back. All right, y'all done did that. Now you go do it. Oh no, you forced them to fire. You need to make the next step. And she did not do that. Very disappointed in her for that. English says we let him get the upper hand by hiring a career loser in Dennis Allen. We should have revolted then. How many years he was a coordinator for Sean and not even sniff for a head coach anywhere. Nobody wanted Dennis Allen. This was a good old boy hire. They talked to Eric Bieniemy for 8 hours and he is more credentialed as a coordinator than Dennis Allen was. And he still gave him the job. And that was because Mickey Loomis doesn't know what he's doing. He didn't know. Nobody hires Dennis Allen as a head coach. He doesn't have it. We knew he didn't have it. He got up there and he did all that other stuff, and that idiot sat up there and protected him. He could have fixed his mistake and fired him, but the thing that was even more egregious is the fact that he refused to even admit his wrongs. He said what he could have done with Dennis Allen was giving him some more support. And I'm like, you flipping idiot, you don't know. But how could you be mad at a crazy person? You can't. How could you be mad at a crazy person for being crazy, doing what crazy do? That's what he did. I should have gave him more support. Really? So not going to him and chastising him for how he was just guy's out of his mind. Yeah, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson too. That's right, for Brizzle. You're right, brother. Yeah, J-Rod, I'll say Eagles, Raiders, and Denver. Brandon says, cut Carr, eat the $50 million, just move on and start rattling next year. That's a Mickey Loomis thing. Word on the street, Mickey Loomis wants to keep Derek Carr. Now, isn't that a surprise? Even though teams might have interest in trading for him, but you have to be a willing participant on the other side to be able to get away with getting that done. So it is what it is. And Brandon says Gail's not going to get. No, she's not. She's not going to do anything but sit up there and continue to cash them checks. That's what she's going to do. Yes, the other teams seem to always have the vision, but the Saints can't figure it out. Von Bell was a Pro Bowler when he left and lead the league in INTs. Chauncey Gardner has been playing well. Hendrickson is balling. Exactly. Who that says he had good offense when he was up here in Dallas, Q, and they really haven't been the same since he left. Okay, thank you, Who Dat Dad. Appreciate you, that brother. All right, what's up, Demi? Shout out to my girl Demi. She said Miami Dolphins, I think. Was it that one to Sean Payton? Okay, all right. I forget, man. Who that? He said the Chargers. Okay. English says Sirianni is an offensive schemer like Peyton. Moore is no better than Carmichael as a head coach, says English. Wu says Moore is desperate. Okay. What a team. Can we still get Chucky in here? Wait, is he still suing? He's still suing the NFL. That's with all of the stuff going on. There was just rumors circulating around about John Gruden. Not one team offered him an interview. That says a lot. Not one team, even the Saints, didn't offer him an interview. Now, that's for head coach. Does he get a position on the team once the new staff comes in? Probably not. But yeah, nobody interviewed John Gruden. None of these teams interviewed him at all. So that may be a memo out on that. Usually when that happens, somebody going to take a flyer on you. You'll get one interview, something. When nobody touches you, that's a flyer out on you. That's a flyer out on you. Indeed. All right, yeah. So y'all, more, I see what y'all, regardless of not firing Mickey Gale, that thing is stood up on 10 when they tried to carjack her. You better get out of here. Young man, you better get out of here. Yeah, they tried to carjack her. I remember that. And they end up looking at her and she was by herself. And Gail was they was going to carjack Gail. And Gail, them dudes looked at Gail and they got that hell out of that. Gail might have had that pump sitting there on her. Oh, my young man, you better get out of here. Or you going to get out of here. That guy, oh my goodness, took the hell off. But I'm pretty sure they got security riding around with her, man. You can't have Gail Benson, the $6 billion or whatever, she riding around with no protection, man. In the city of New Orleans, that can end very badly. I'm telling you, man, that can end very badly. That can end very badly, man. Gail, you better get out of here. Yeah, all right. Okay. All right, what's up, Tasha? Jay says, I still think with records, he said, regardless to Kellen Moore, it depends on the Super Bowl. If the Eagles win, he's gone. If they lose, he stays. There could be a game where it's close and be like, man, listen, we can be back. Right. That's what I'm saying. It's tough, man, because if you had an allure situation, there is a lot of pushback for the Saints job because they understand and know that it's one thing to have a losing team. We see losers all the time, but one that's $50 million in a hole, that is going to take at least 2 years for you to see something positive on the other end. That's the thing that really kicks in. Wu says everyone wants a shot to be a head coaching job. Nobody wants to be an OC. Eric Bieniemy was winning Super Bowls and still was trying to leave. He got up to a point and he felt like it was time for him that he learned enough and he wanted to be a head coach. And that's how it goes. Like you get to a point. It happened with your boy from the Detroit Lions, the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. It happened for the defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn. They climb the ladder. You get up, you're a defensive backs coach. Then you become a defensive coordinator. Then you become, then you want to become a head coach. You climb in the ladder. It's the same with Johnson, what he did out there in Detroit. Started where he started, offensive coordinator, had positive results for the years, and then ultimately wanted to try to be a coach. And they had some good success in Detroit, steady success that really boded well, which lets them know it was whatever he has the proper thinking to be able to take that step. So, that's what it was. All right. Yeah. Brandon says, Q, if not more, who would you want to be the head coach? I mean, man, people been asking me that, man, and I just get stuck sometimes. I was like, man, listen, man. I guess the coach, I don't have a name that I can throw out there. I just have in my mind characteristics. Like it's an offensive coach who has a high degree of accountability, a seriousness, and a kick-ass nature, the ability to be able to communicate with the players and get them on the game. If you drop in passes, we won't be tolerated. You're gonna do some sit-ups, push-ups, whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? It's a system, a punishment system. Like if you hurt the team, you're gonna do push-ups, you're gonna do laps, you throw interceptions. It's something you got to pay for. If you hurt the team, if you are, because we're not paying you to drop passes or miss tackles. You don't just shake your head and say, "Well, next time I get it." No, you got to pay for that. You did something wrong. You got to pay for it. Something, that's a part of the accountability model. Now, whoever you got that can attach to that in this current hiring cycle, that's who the guy is. That's what this team needs. To me, that's what they need based on, because we did not have that. That's why the team lost, family. Don't believe the lies about injuries. Yeah, the Saints had injuries, but that's why you have a depth chart. That's why you have a head coach and his assistants that are supposed to get everybody, all of the team, not just the starters, but the backups on code to do their jobs. And if them guys can't block, you get them off the team. If they consistently missing catches, blowing, not knowing their playbook, you off the team. You get the chance, you keep doing it, you off the team. Ali Udo should have been gone. Cedric Wilson should have been gone. Why we got these guys here? Why are they here? Because nobody's evaluating these guys on the team and keeping up what's going on. We trying to win games. And there was no pressure on the head coach. Mickey Loomis was not involved in any of that. He only gets concerned when the season over with, so he can tell you a bunch of lies about injuries. But ask Mickey Loomis where he was during the 7-game losing streak that was happening. Where was he at? He was telling Dennis Allen, "Don't worry about it. Well, I got your back." It's just that's what we need. He would have, and then that coach would have to be strong enough to instill that mindset throughout the entire organization, because it doesn't exist. So he would have to be the sun in that galaxy all by himself, which is that's on some Sean Payton type stuff. That's a lot to heap on the coach, but that's the only type of personality that will win in the city of New Orleans, in that building down there. He would have to literally be the sun of the entire galaxy, because nobody in that building has that. So he would have to constantly be putting out that energy to fuel everything. And that's a lot to do. And if you don't have that, then, because that is the void. Like that, Sean Payton ain't walking through the door. We don't need Sean Payton to walk through the door. We just need somebody that's serious enough to hold these players, to make them accountable, to make them do the job they're being paid to do. And if they're not performing, get these guys out of here. Don't let them sit up here and suck up no money off of us. You earn everything that you get. This is not a welfare state. We don't play none of that. You have to earn all of your stuff here. I'm tired of these players sitting up here smiling and dancing and all this shit, and to see you got 5 and 12 and they smiling like something good. Man, get out of here with that. We're not happy about that. And for players that act like that, they need to be checked, man. Ain't nothing funny over here. Bro, fam, listen, there's nothing funny about this. The Saints are a laughing stock. People are turning them down for the head coaching position. They're $50 million in the red. They're the oldest team in the NFL. And their cheap competitors within the NFC South are younger teams that are outperforming them right now. Do we see what's going on here? I know you do, but they don't. But that's where we are. And everybody sees it now. The stuff that I was talking about, they see it now. The Saints are a joke. And Kellen, you're right. Kellen Moore could flip-flop. If they dominate the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, he could be like, man, we could do this again. He might not want to leave. He could change his damn mind because he ain't signed nothing. He can't sign nothing. He can say, you know what? I decided to stay. If it's a close Super Bowl, it's like, man, listen, bro, if you come back, we can do this, man. Listen, it's hard to get there. So the allure to go would be something. And besides, what McCarthy, Brady, Kingsbury did, and Aaron Glenn did, why wouldn't Kellen Moore do it? Just saying. This is not a sought after position because you got dumb leadership on top of the team, and you will be tasked with turning it all around, and you will get no help from them. Who want to come here and take the blame for what a dumb person like Mickey Loomis did to the team and doesn't even know what he's doing? It's just it's just ridiculous. All right, but anyway, man, listen. I'm gonna get ready to get out of here because I need to go and take a look at the Pelicans game. But before I leave, I want to play something for y'all, man. You know, I'm gonna touch on it, then I'm gonna go. I'm gonna play this right here. Y'all probably heard this. This happened a while ago, but I heard this and I was surprised by this because I was keeping up with this situation when it happened, and I did not know this piece of information that Nick Saban said. Let me see if I got it queued up correctly. And y'all put one in the chat if y'all can hear it.
Personally, academically, athletically, and all that, a little more than in pro ball. Even though I love the status of coaching in pro football and the kind of guys you coached, and you're coaching in the best league against the best players, I loved all that. So then I can't go back to LSU, go to Alabama, and no disrespect to Alabama. It's not Alabama versus LSU. It's just Jimmy Sexton stood on the balcony when I was getting ready to leave LSU and make a decision about whether I went to Miami or stayed at LSU. And he says, what do you want your legacy to be as a coach? Do you want to be Vince Lombardi or do you want to be Bear Bryant? And without hesitation, I said Bear Bryant. And he said, what are you doing going to Miami then? That's true. I don't know if I ever told that story, but that's the truth. Outside.
All right, hold on. That's the wrong one. This is the one. Here we go.
On a contract, you go get a physical. So I'm like, this is all done. And then they call me on the phone and say, we don't think he can play. But Dr. Andrews in Birmingham, the last thing before you sign a contract, you go get a physical. So, the last thing before you sign a contract, you go get a physical. So I'm like, this is all done. And then they call me on the phone and say, we don't think he can play. But Dr. Andrews in Birmingham did his surgery and also did it on Culpepper. He did both guys. And I flew to see him because I wanted, before we ever went down this road, to see what his thoughts were because I had a lot of respect for him. He's an LSU guy. Yeah. All right. And I've known him for years. So I flew up there and talked to him and he said, Drew Brees will be fine. He said, Dante is going to have a hard time because, he needs his mobility to be an effective quarterback. And I don't know if he'll ever fully get it back, because his knee was so messed up. All right. So here we go. So I'm saying, let's go get Drew Brees. He's a free agent. We got to trade for Dante. Better deal to take the free agent, still keep your second round pick. They failed him on the physical.
All right. Did y'all know that?
Fine.
Did y'all know that about Drew Brees? He failed that physical with the Miami Dolphins. Nick Saban said he chose Drew Brees, but Drew Brees failed the physical. I didn't remember that. But then if you listen further to the interview, Nick Saban then says, because Ryan Clark says he failed the physical. He said, yes. He says, the agent then tells Nick Saban, hey, Nick Saban, he says, if you tell them that he failed the physical, then I won't be able to get him signed anywhere. So Nick Saban agreed not to tell that Drew Brees failed that Miami physical. That's why they chose Culpepper over Drew, that he failed the physical. And the Saints they signed Drew Brees after he left from there. It worked out, in the end. But that was something that in this interview, like I heard this, last week sometimes. Somebody sent it to me. I just took along to listen to it. But did any of y'all know that? Did anybody know that? Did anybody know that Drew failed the physical with the Miami Dolphins and Nick Saban held it secretly so they wouldn't hurt Drew's prospects of getting signed? Because his agent told him, hey, man, I need some time. Please don't tell anybody. Okay, New Orleans says, yes, he knew that he failed it. Okay, Tragic says, remember. I don't remember that. I don't remember him failing his physical out there. At the time, what I remember was that they chose Culpepper over him and they gave another excuse. That's what I remember. Is that they gave another excuse. They decided to go with Dante Culpepper because of some other crap, which was just some BS, I guess, they were telling you. But no, I didn't remember that. That's interesting. All right, Byron said he knew it. Brandon said, yeah, I heard about that. J-Rock said, I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm with you, J-Rock. Cy said, oh, what's up, Cy? Shout out to you, man. For Tragic say he knew. New Orleans say he knew. Backwoods say they knew. Okay, Brandon say he heard about it over the years. Yeah, Tragic say he knew he failed. I did not know that. And then I did not know, obviously, that Nick Saban held it secret so Drew Brees can find a job. Didn't know that. Which is interesting because if he failed the physical for Miami, how did he pass it for New Orleans? It just worked out, didn't it? Very interesting, man. Very interesting. I was like, I often thought about that. Nick Saban couldn't be that crazy. And then he gets on his podcast years later and he talks about it. Also, he mentions the regret. I just played a little bit of him regretting the fact that he left LSU, which we all knew that. For years, we've known that. He just finally admitted to it. But anyway, yeah, that was a little bit of information. I was like, I did not know that. I did not know that. I knew the other crap that they were talking about, but I didn't know he failed his physical. I didn't know that. All right. So anyway, yeah, Riley says Sean said it didn't go quite like that. Okay. So Sean Payton saying that the Drew Brees thing, didn't go quite like that. Yeah, Marley says, yeah, Q, maybe the excuses was secret. Yeah, Nick Saban said he did keep a secret. So maybe that's why. All right. Yeah, thank you on that. Fox Nola says they reported that Drew failed physical in Miami. Okay, that guy passed me. TJ Scottzilla says Mickey been doing dirty business. Jerry Covington, what's up, Jerry? Says Saints said he was good. LOL. Yeah, they did. If he failed it in Miami, how did he pass it for the Saints? It just turned out it worked. Doc says medical staff have been shady for a while. Brandon says, Q, how many championships do you think Saban would have won if he stayed at LSU, bro? Well, I don't know if it'd have been as many as he did with the Alabama Crimson Tide, but why not? If he built, you know how difficult, because listen, it could have been around the same amount, if not greater, because he already had built it up already. They were already recruiting strong. LSU was a force. He won a championship there. So it wouldn't have been as hard as it was for him to go to Alabama and build it up, because Alabama was losing when Nick Saban came, before he arrived. They were losing. So yeah, if he'd have stayed there, it'd probably been the same amount, if not greater. So it was something that LSU tried to keep that man. That dude had it hell bent to get into the NFL, and then got his issue after 2 years. Yeah, he ended up going to Alabama. The job was already taken. I think who was the Mad Hatter was there? What's his name? What's his name? Took over the job when Nick Saban left. The Mad Hatter. Forgot the man name. Ain't that a shame? I forgot his damn name. Y'all help me out, man. What was his name? It wasn't Ogeron. It was the guy with the hat. I forgot his name. He went to Kansas and all. Ain't that terrible, man? Lost it like that because he did some stuff and they took all his wins away. What was he tied to? Some type of scandal. Les Miles. Thank you, Slim. Les Miles. Thank y'all. Les Miles took it over. I would have put Les Miles in the street and say, come on back, Nick Saban. I'd pay Les Miles. Come on back, man. All is forgiven. Come on back. And Les Miles sit up there. What about me? We're going to pay you off and get you out of here. No. It's a difference between the two. Let me tell you something. And when Nick Saban played LSU, he let you know. He beat LSU as Alabama many more, more times than we beat him. You can count on your hand how many times we beat him up there. It wasn't a lot of times. I can tell you that much. Yeah, Les Miles was something else. What's up, Dr. Gray? Good to see you, man. Yeah, Les Miles, man. He got caught up in some scandal. They took all of his not half, but a great deal of his wins away from him because of a scandal he got caught into. Wasn't it some type of sexual assault scandal he got? Something like that. I don't know. It was something. They took half his wins away from him. Yeah, Les Miles is I would have put him in the street, say, come on, Nick, everything is forgiven, man. just to keep them out of the SEC, man. Send Les Miles to Alabama. Let them screw up their team. All right. But anyway, man, let me get on up out of here. Listen, fam, we're going to be monitoring this situation, man. I'll be back Thursday with all the latest news, man. We'll be covering this. For the family members, shout out to the family members, Patreon, YouTube membership champions. We got the breakdown, the draft breakdown, prospect breakdown, the latest one up, the tight end breakdown. A lot of good tight ends in this draft, man. We were looking at, man, there's a lot of good tight ends. There was some breakdown. We looked at the need, the position of tight end. We talked about the wide receiver need for wide receiver position. If you look at what the Saints got on them, because it's going to be some difficulty and a lot of uncertainty on what direction the Saints should take. Like right now, you're where you're at for a reason. So, you might want to kind of hasten it, try to see if you can offload some of these contracts, because if the only way, like I said, and I'm going to say it go again, commonsensically, the only reason you should have an old team is the experience counts in terms of wins, more wins than losses anyway. But you have an older team because the older team is competitive. You're winning the NFC South, you're playing in the playoffs. But if that's not happening, there's no reason for you to be paying all these guys all this money. Cut ties and run, draft well, see if you can get as much money back as you can, and do the best to win this year. But don't, try as much as you can without kicking in this money into 26. Because either you're going to burn this year or you're going to slow burn over the next 2 years. So you can hasten it by, trading these guys, whatever you got to do to get these guys off the team. And if you have, and just compete like hell with what you got. If you can get guys to come back and, and draft well and put guys there, like I would literally focus on building that offensive line and fixing my defensive line. That's what I would really focus in on, because you have to be able to run the football and stop the run. That's the two components right there. And everything else sits on top of that. You putting wide receivers over here and guys over here, and they're getting their ass. They can't even get the ball because the quarterback on his backside. That's what happens. You got to be able to build your lines up. And the Saints offensive line is not all that. They're not all that. And the defensive line, interiorly speaking, is a problem. So you have to be able to stop the run and run the ball. You have to build it on that, and then everything else. And our lines are not good, man. You can give McCoy that phony Pro Bowl bid all you want. We know that Eric McCoy, it did not play like a Pro Bowler this year outside of the first 2 games. So all it takes for you to get to the Pro Bowl is 2 games, and you got a name. There got to be another offensive lineman out there. No disrespect to Eric McCoy, but if you're a real man, you know that you didn't earn that Pro Bowl, dog. But just be honest with you. They gave that to you. I would have gave it right back because I didn't earn it. They gave, here you go, man. I'm like, you know what? Thank you for the consideration, but here, why don't you give it to that other man? He played a lot better than I did, and this, that, and the third. Give it to him. I don't deserve this. What you giving it to me for? Hell, my team was 5-12. I missed 10 games. I only played really good in 2 games. But you calling me a Pro Bowl? I guess, man, I'm cut differently, man. You don't take nothing that you didn't earn, that you don't deserve, you didn't earn. You did not earn a Pro Bowl bid, but that's what we are. Oh, well, hell, I'll take it. Shit, I'm a Pro Bowler. Man, that's a joke. You didn't earn that, man. You missed 10 games and you played 2 games good. The rest of them games, you wasn't there. You was hurt most of the game. You was not dominant. The games that you came back from, the Saints, didn't they lose those games? They made 1 game or something like that. And the running game wasn't all that. Couldn't run the ball. They had no energy, no passion. They got all them guys back, and they still was looking terrible out there. So, I mean, how do we sit up here giving these guys accolades that they didn't even earn? That guy wasn't no Pro Bowler this year, and y'all know that. Hey, like, you go a Pro Bowl bid for what? You didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. Let's keep it real. You didn't do anything. So, I mean, this is just, I don't know what to say about this, man. Yes, all this is a flipping joke, man. No matter how you cut it, it's a joke. A man, he missed 10 games on a 5-12 team and goes to the Pro Bowl, and he played 2 games dominant. The rest of the games, it was mediocre. And I sit up here, did the film work on every game. And I'm telling you what I know and what's up there on Patreon. You can look at every last one of the film breakdowns on all of these games we did, pinpointing the line. 2 games he was dominant on. That's week 1 and weeks 2. The remaining games, he missed out on 10 games, and the rest of them games when he came back, he wasn't the same because you could look at him and see he was still hurt. So how you get a Pro Bowl on 2 dominant games? That don't make any sense, man, to me. But them people do what they want to do with them dumb. That the Pro Bowl ain't crap anyway, man. You know, that's garbage in anyway. They'll use it to say, hey, man, I'm a Pro Bowler, but the end is you didn't earn that, man. You know you ain't earned that shit. All right, so anyway, let me get on and get up out of here. Duke, shout out to you, man. Appreciate you. Randy says, I hope we're able to address every position group in the draft this year. We got a lot of draft picks. We'll see exactly how it rolls, man, in the end. But it's crazy. What's up, brother DeWright? Shout out to you, man. He says, yeah, appreciate you being in the live, brother. Yeah. Trey says, definitely not a Pro Bowl. Yeah, no, it wasn't, man. And I like Eric McCoy, but that was not a Pro Bowl year, what I seen on tape. That wasn't a pro. He had weeks 1 and 2. He was dominant. And then he got hurt in the first series against Philadelphia. And then he was gone for 10 games. He played a little bit. He got banged up again. Y'all remember he left the game, came back in the game, and then he was out for that game. And then he came back, played a series of games, then got hurt again, and then he was gone for the rest of the year. How is that a Pro Bowl year? I'm wrestling with that in my mind because I'm saying they got to have somebody else that played the summation of the year and was dominant, you know, from the NFC. How did they just go and say, let's give it to this guy? How did that even work? So I don't know, man. I must say, DeWright says, Q, are they considering a new medical team? No, they are not, bro. They just read up with Oshner Hospital. They just read up with them, last month? So no, it's not a new medical staff. It's the same people that's been doing the Saints medical checkups and all this kind of stuff. They're the health system, national health system. They just read up with them again. So no, it's not going to be a different staff. Same people. All right. So anyway, with that being said, man, listen, let me get on up out of here. Brand said, wish I could trade GMs. Who gonna want that guy? I mean, we'll see how it go, man. But anyway, I'm out. I'm gonna holler at y'all tomorrow on the stream, man. Y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Feel free to give our sponsors in the chat or the link actually in the description section below some love. Teach Henley, Bet Online, and Mint Mobile. Also, shout out to Nature's Way. We'll be also connecting with sponsorship deal with Nature's Way, the supplement provider. That's be starting on next week on Monday. That's right, Nature Way. Y'all know them, familiar with them. They're all of their fantastic supplements, health supplements and vitamins and stuff like that. Is down with Tacoma. So that welcome to the team. We appreciate them for working with us. And listen, man, we're gonna keep this thing going and showing. But listen, we're gonna holler at you on the next one. Much love and that.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Fucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this, and I'm a Who Dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. You're listening to the sports coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC. Head to BetOnline today and don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.